Jaden and Eddie were born just a few days apart in the same small town. From the moment they met as infants, it was as if fate had destined them to be lifelong companions. Their mothers were best friends, and their families spent nearly every day together. As they grew older, Jaden and Eddie became inseparable. They shared everything, from toys and snacks to hopes and dreams. They attended the same elementary school and sat next to each other in every class. They spent their weekends exploring the woods behind their houses, pretending to be knights on a quest for adventure. But as they entered their teenage years, their relationship began to evolve. Jaden started to notice the way his heart skipped a beat whenever Eddie smiled at him, the way his stomach fluttered when their hands accidentally brushed against each other. He tried to ignore these feelings, chalking them up to nothing more than a passing phase. However, as they spent more time together, Jaden couldn't deny the truth any longer. He was in love with Eddie. He wrestled with his emotions, unsure of what to do. Society had taught him that boys were supposed to like girls, not other boys. He feared the consequences of admitting his feelings, of risking their friendship for something that might not be reciprocated. Despite his inner turmoil, Jaden couldn't bring himself to distance himself from Eddie. Their bond was too strong, too ingrained in his very being. And so, he kept his feelings hidden, buried deep beneath the surface, where no one else could see them. As Jaden and Eddie entered high school, their bond deepened even further. They found solace in each other's company, escaping the pressures of teenage life in the safety of their friendship. Yet, despite their closeness, Jaden couldn't shake the feeling of longing that gnawed at his insides whenever he was near Eddie. They spent countless hours together, studying, playing video games, and exploring the world around them. But amidst the laughter and camaraderie, there were stolen moments of intimacy, a lingering touch, a shared glance, a whispered confession of love, all hidden from prying eyes. They yearned for something more, something deeper than mere friendship. Yet they were paralyzed by fear of what might happen if they dared to explore their desires. And so, they kept their feelings hidden, burying them beneath layers of denial and self-doubt. They dated girls from their school, hoping to find solace in the arms of someone who could never truly understand the depths of their connection. But no matter how hard they tried to deny it, their hearts belonged to each other. And as they lay awake at night, tangled together beneath the covers, they knew that their love was a flame that could never be extinguished, no matter how hard they tried to snuff it out. After high school, Jaden and Eddie found themselves drifting apart. The weight of their unspoken desires and the pressure of societal expectations had taken its toll on their once unbreakable bond. They both attended different colleges, miles apart, and their lives took different paths. They tried to maintain their friendship, but the distance and the strain of their hidden feelings made it increasingly difficult. Jaden threw himself into his studies, determined to carve out a successful future for himself. He buried himself in books and lectures, using his academic pursuits as a distraction from the pain of his unrequited love for Eddie. Meanwhile, Eddie immersed himself in the party scene, seeking solace in the arms of strangers and drowning his sorrows in alcohol and drugs. He knew that he was running away from his problems, but he couldn't bear to face the truth of his feelings for Jaden. Their once close-knit friendship became strained and distant, punctuated by awkward phone calls and occasional visits home during breaks. They both longed for the closeness they had once shared, but they were unable to bridge the gap that had grown between them. And as the years passed, their lives continued to diverge, pulling them further and further apart. They dated others, searching for something, anything, to fill the void left by their fractured friendship. But no matter how hard they tried, They couldn't escape the lingering pain of their unresolved feelings for each other. And as they struggled to find their place in the world, they couldn't help but wonder what might have been if they had only been brave enough to embrace their love for each other openly and without fear.
Despite the strain in their relationship, college offered Jaden and Eddie the opportunity to explore their identities and desires in ways they had never imagined. The freedom of being away from their hometown and the expectations of their families allowed them to shed the layers of repression that had weighed them down for so long. Jaden found himself drawn to LGBTQ+ organizations on campus, finding solace and camaraderie among others who shared similar experiences. He attended support groups and pride events, slowly coming to terms with his own sexuality and the feelings he had long denied. Eddie, on the other hand, threw himself into the vibrant social scene of college life. He joined fraternity parties and attended pride parades, immersing himself in the colorful tapestry of queer culture. He experimented with his sexuality, exploring relationships with both men and women, searching for something or someone to fill the void in his heart. Despite their divergent paths, Jaden and Eddie's connection remained as strong as ever. They kept in touch through late-night phone calls and occasional visits, sharing stories of their college experiences and the newfound freedom they had discovered. But amidst the excitement and adventure of college life, the pain of their unresolved feelings lingered, a constant reminder of the love they had been too afraid to embrace. And as they navigated the complexities of young adulthood, they couldn't help but wonder if they would ever find their way back to each other, or if their love was destined to remain forever unrequited. Despite their newfound freedom and exploration in college, Jaden and Eddie couldn't shake the lingering pain of their unspoken love. Each new experience, each new relationship, served only to highlight the absence of what they truly desired: each other. But amidst the pain and regret, a flicker of hope remained. A hope that one day, they might find a way to bridge the gap that had grown between them and rediscover the love they had been too afraid to embrace. Years passed, and life took Jaden and Eddie on separate paths. They pursued careers, traveled the world, and built lives for themselves, all the while carrying the weight of their unresolved feelings for each other. But fate has a funny way of bringing people back together, even when they least expect it. One day, by pure chance, Jaden and Eddie found themselves in the same city at the same time, their paths crossing in a twist of fate that neither of them could ignore. As they stood face to face for the first time in years, the air crackled with tension, the weight of their unspoken emotions hanging heavy between them. But beneath the surface, there was a spark, a flicker of something that had never truly gone out, despite the years of silence and separation. In that moment, all the pain and regret melted away, replaced by a sense of longing and possibility. They talked for hours, catching up on all the years they had missed, sharing stories and memories of their shared past. And as they looked into each other's eyes, they knew that they couldn't deny the truth any longer. They were still in love with each other, just as they had been all those years ago. It was in the quiet moments, the everyday moments, that their love truly shone brightest. It was in the way they laughed together, the way they held each other close even without noticing it, the way they looked into each other's eyes. Eddie, being with you feels like coming home. Every moment we spend together, it's like rediscovering a part of myself I thought I'd lost, Jaden whispered. I feel it too, Jaden. It's like we're picking up right where we left off a long time ago. I can't deny how I feel any longer. I love you with all my heart, Eddie whispered back, "I love you too. I always have and I always will." Jaden teared up as he kissed Eddie passionately.